Alright, good afternoon traders. This is your free video update from Seasonal Swing Trader. Today we're taking a look at the Japanese yen, the December yen, or 6JZ9 on most platforms. And you can see here on the left hand side I've got a weekly chart, and on the right pane I have a daily chart. And we're looking at the yen for a couple of reasons. One, we have a couple of technical patterns starting to shape up, and we also have some high probability seasonality at this time of year. So starting with seasonality, we take a look at our Smart Futures platform. I did a scan this morning on the December yen, looking for trends that have won at least 80% of the time, only in the bearish camp, lasting at least 10 trading days, but no more than 30. And you can see that I had a scan result pop up for a short on around October 11th, lasting until about November 19th. It's 86% win rate. The average profit's been a little over $4,500. You can see the average risk reward ratio has been 3-to-1, which is very favorable. This fits all of my criteria. We have a high score, we have a high win percent, we have a high average profit, and a favorable risk reward ratio. Furthermore, if we want to take a look at the historical price averages, notice that we have topping actions right here in mid-October on the 30, 15, and 5-year price averages. We start to top out around this area, and then the market goes lower. So going back to the chart, what do we have here? So looking at the longer term perspective on a weekly chart, notice that we have multi-year resistance going all the way back to 2014. We had some sticky action here, and then we had some resistance, and we've recently traded up the resistance and then rejected it. Coming to a shorter term perspective, you can see that we are in the midst of a 1, 2, 3 top play with the initial short of around 94.35. We've come down to as low as about 92.70, rebounded up back to that breakout area of 94.40 and rejected. And now it looks like we're starting to roll over. You can see we're kind of at a crossroads here on the daily chart between the 50, 100, and 244-day moving average. But today's action appears that we may start to head back to the downside to hit our first profit objectives of around 92.40. Now, one thing I will say as a word of caution, when you're shorting instruments such as the Japanese yen, Swiss franc, 30-year bonds, gold, you need to do so with limited risk. Now, ideally, you are trading all instruments with limited risk, but I would encourage you to pay special attention when you're shorting these markets, because they are perceived as a flight to quality during times of market turmoil, and you can see these markets bid up to extreme levels. So once we get a confirmation short to go ahead and execute on the yen, we'll likely do so by selling out of the money call spreads and or buying puts or bear put spreads, which are all limited risk. Now, if you don't want to trade, if you don't trade the futures contract, you can trade the US yen in the Forex market. So you would be buying the US yen, you're buying the dollar, which is shorting the yen. It's just the inverse. If you're not a futures or Forex trader and want to take advantage of this potential play in the equity markets, you can do so with the ETF FXY. This is the currency shares ETF that tracks the yen. And you can see we have the exact same pattern setting up that we did in the Japanese yen futures. We'll be looking to go lower, testing around the 87.5 as our first profit objectives. That's analysis on taking into account both technicals and seasonals. Hope it helps, and we'll see you on the next update.